This is section 4.2, Systems of Equations, the substitution method. So keep in mind, systems of equations can be solved three different ways: graphing, substitution, and elimination. So this is the substitution method. This method is all about doing the algebra to get the solution. The substitution method has some steps. I've sort of summarized them here. They don't always make a lot of sense until you jump into problems, so I would recommend you write this down, think about it, and most importantly though, keep it next to you when you're doing the problems or when you're going through these problems, like we're about to. The first step of substitution is to pick an equation, pick a variable, and solve for it. Get it by itself. There are many options, right? We have two x's we could solve for, two y's, but there's usually, there's often a smart choice. The smart choice here is to solve for this x, because it's easy. You can get this x by itself simply by moving the 5y to the other side. So we're going to do that down here. We're going to add the 5y to both sides, and then we'll get x equals 5y plus 26. This is now our substitution equation, right? We got one equation, we solved for one variable, and now we're going to substitute that into the other equation for the variable we solved for. Since we solved for x, we're going to take this expression and we're literally going to plug this 5y plus 26 right in there into that x. So let's do that. So we'll have 2 times, and instead of x, we're going to have 5y plus 26. And then the rest of the equation, we already have a plus 6y equals negative 12. Okay, so that's what the substitution step looks like. We solved one variable, or one equation for one variable, and we plugged it into the other. The whole point of this is now we have one equation with just one variable. We just have y's here. So we should be able to solve this equation for y. So what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the 2 through. 2 times 5y is 10y. 2 times 26 is 52. Then we have a 6y equals negative 12. Okay, now we'll combine our like terms. We have a 10y and a 6y, that's 16y plus 52 equals negative 12. Let's move the 52 over, subtract it from both sides. 16y equals negative 64. And then lastly, we'll divide both sides by 16, and that will give us y equals negative 4. Right, so we solved for a variable, we plugged it in, we solved that equation, and now we have our first solution, y equals negative 4. The last thing we're going to do is take the solution we have and plug it back into one of the original equations, solve for the other variable. So since we have y, basically we're going to plug it back in, solve for x. You can plug this into either of the original equations, but it's actually easiest to plug it into the substitution equation. Right, this is just the top equation, solve for x, which we already did. So if you plug this y right in there, it just reads off what x is basically. So let's do that. We'll have x equals 5. Instead of y, our y is negative 4. So we'll plug in negative 4 plus 26. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And that gives us 6. So there we go. Our final answer, x is 6, y is negative 4. We could write that as a point, 6 comma negative 4. And that's it. That is the one point, or the one solution to the system of equations. Remember, graphically that means if you were to graph these two lines, that's the exact point that they would cross. Okay, a couple more quick examples. Here we have our two equations. We're going to solve one equation for one variable, and again, because it's nice and easy, I'm going to solve for this x. All we have to do is add the y over. So we'll do plus y to both sides. We get x equals 4 plus y. That is now our substitution equation. We'll plug it into the other equation for that x. 2 times, and instead of x we have 4 plus y minus 2y equals 8. Okay, this is one equation with just y, so we can solve it for y. Let's distribute the 2 through. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times y is plus 2y. Then we have a minus 2y, and it equals 8. Notice we can combine some like terms, but 2y and 2y cancel each other out. So we actually just get 8 equals 8. What does that mean? Think back to chapter 2. This means that there's infinite solutions, right? Because all of our variables went away, but we have a true statement. This means infinite solutions. Okay, so remember there are three things that can happen when you solve a system of equations. You can get one solution, infinite solutions or no solutions. This is how you figure out if it's infinite. If it was like 8 equals 9 or something, if it was something not true, remember that would mean it's no solution. Last example here, we're going to take our first equation this time, which is over here, and we're going to solve it for y, because again, it's easy. All we have to do is add the 2x over. So let's do that. We'll do a plus 2x and a plus 2x. Those cancel, and we get y equals 2x plus 4. This is our substitution equation. Plug it into the other equation, and don't forget, we solved this one for y, so we have to plug it in for the y. So, let me just make a little boundary here. So we have 4x minus 2 times, and instead of y, now we're going to replace it with our substitution, 2x plus 4 equals 2. Now distribute the minus 2. Don't forget this minus is stuck here, so we're going to distribute that through. So we'll get 4x minus 4x minus 8 equals 2. Right after the distribution, notice just like last time, this time our x's are canceling out. So what are we left with? Negative 8 equals 2. What does that mean? Well, there's no variables left over, and it's a false statement this time, right? Negative 8 doesn't equal 2. So that means we have no solutions. So that's it. Hope this helps out. Let me know if you have any questions, and keep up the good work.